So the next test we're going to review is a modification for the squat assessment test. If you're unable to meet the standard for the squat assessment test, then we want to have you perform the squat stretch hold. Now, most people that can do the squat assessment hold are going to be able to do the squat stretch hold because they need the mobility in their hips and their ankles to perform the squat assessment. The squat stretch hold will provide the opportunity to give you an exercise to work on over the summer leading up to the fitness assessment. It's one of my favorite tests. I recommend everybody do this test and be able to minimally hold for 2 minutes with correct form. This full test for just the squat stretch hold is 10 minutes. And if you're familiar with Supple Leopard and Kelly Starrett, this comes directly from his Ready State via YouTube. So we want the same feet placement as the squat assessment hold, wherever's comfortable outside the hip. Ideally, too, we don't have you too wide. We just want you outside the hip, and we are going to try and require you to have those feet pointing forward. Now, I get a lot of feedback and comments from members that just can't point their toes forward, and I try to emphasize to them that is why that's the standard, is because we are trying to work on and highlight your ankle mobility or immobility if you're unable to point the toes forward. So that's where we're going to provide you a lot of content on how to improve your ankle mobility, which will help prevent injury and it will help correct your squat form. So you point the toes forward, all the weight in the heel and towards the outside of the foot. So you're going to reach for the toes, and you don't have to touch the toes. If you're able to, great. You're going to push your knees out with your arms. So you can take the hands off the feet if you need to. Lower your hip, and as soon as you can, you want to squeeze your shoulder blades down and back and get your back flat. If this is as low as you can go, that's fine. You work on holding this, ideally for 2 minutes, and we'll note how high your hip was and if you were able to get hip crease below the knee. Ideally, you lower hip crease below the knee and you hold here for 2 minutes. The other option too that I will allow people to do is put their hands together to push those knees out, as long as you keep the back flat. So we're looking here for that good form similar to the squat assessment, and you're ideally trying to hold this for 2 minutes. If you allow the hip to go too low, you're going to round in that back. The standard on this one is you have to keep the back flat, even if you have to come up a little bit higher in the squat to do so.